What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to Luzernack. It's episode number 32. 32 of The Climb. Yes, it is. I had a doubt there for a second, but we're back sooner than I expected. That's why there's confusion, because today we're taking on Toulouse in the French Cup. And you might think, well, why are you going to do the game against Toulouse? You're only going there to lose. And, well, yes, granted, they are a team in a higher division. And yes, we are going away from home. They are a team that are local to Luzernack. And in fact, Toulouse are one of the few teams that when Luzernack were going through all the various issues they were going through, really stood by the club. The fans of Toulouse held banners about Luzernack, and they still do to this day. Whenever the French national team has played in Toulouse, there is usually a demonstration of some kind about the Luzernack situation. So you know what? For a team that has stood by us through thick and thin, and given the fact that in the game database, as you might remember, we did set up a affiliation with them, it only feels right that in our first ever game playing against them, we do it in a live com. And of course, the French Cup has provided us with some pretty memorable games over the years. There's been some crazy penalty shootouts, some big upsets. We're going to hope to do something similar to that today. Toulouse are currently 13th in League 1. You can see here, they've been on a steady upward trajectory. A few years ago, they finished 5th. Most recently, 9th. So maybe tailing off just a little bit. But nevertheless, it's going to be a big game for us. And, well, since you were last here, we've only played 4 games, but we have been busy in the January transfer market. Let's talk about the ins and outs, shall we? So on the outs, I guess that's where the most notable things have happened. Jeremy Bavarel, you might remember this guy, yeah. We had an offer that our chairman just accepted above our heads. £575,000 for him, going to Rennes. I'm a little bit concerned that we've sold him well too cheap there, but time will tell. To be honest, he was complaining about a lack of first-team football, and I was struggling to fit him into the starting 11. So, in a weird way, it's not even necessarily the worst transfer. I just think whenever you sell a 17-year-old with a lot of potential, you have to worry, you know, how much potential did he actually have? Was he one of those ones that we're going to look back on and go, man, we needed to keep hold of him? Or maybe we're going to look at it in hindsight and think, we made pretty good money off that in the end. Nevertheless, it's money in the bank, but money that I have been looking to reinvest. Elsewhere, a few other departures. Klevinskas has left, of course, the Lithuanian youngster. You might remember we brought him in as a kind of Shvetsov-esque freebie signing. He was on loan in Lithuania where he didn't really set the world alight, and in the end, Troyes came in with an offer of £81,000 plus a 50%, I believe, of any future sale of any price. And to be fair, that felt like pretty good money again. And the last sale that we've made, Labadie, the baddie himself, a player who I think was in last year's intake, he was. And I wasn't that wowed by him then. I'm still not that wowed by him now. Allegedly has some potential, but ultimately to sell him to a divisional rival for £100,000 felt like quite smart investment. If that's where they want to spend their money, they're probably going to stay in mid-table. So I was perfectly fine with that. So in the end, a decent amount of money recouped. And in fact, you look at our sales for this year now, the kind of total sales is pretty darn high. Of course, a few of this has been players who I would have quite liked to keep for the future, but on the flip side, it is allowing us to obviously sustain a slightly higher wage budget than we'd otherwise be able to, and also look at ways in which we can improve the team. And you can see, just looking here, we certainly are looking to improve the team. And of course, with it being January, I am looking at the typical freebie transfers, so it's worth talking about them. In terms of a few deals going on the ins, let's talk about the ones which have gone through. Malka has generated as a free agent. He is an Israeli playmaker. A little bit of a punt for the future, but a complete freebie. I'll be honest, he doesn't look amazing, but it's a free transfer. You know what? If we can sell him on for £50,000 in a year's time, I'd be relatively happy. The other two deals which are confirmed are Mathis Luissier, who is going to be joining us from Lyon, I want to say. Yeah, he's on loan at the moment in the National League. Plays for Lyon. I look at this guy, and this might seem a little bit mad, I think he is a fullback. And I know that he doesn't really have the crossing or dribbling necessarily, but besides that and perhaps his concentration, I think if at our level, he could be a really, really good fullback. Just a really solid left wing back. Good physicals, good mentals, you know, decent passing and vision going forward, good work rates. I don't know, maybe I'm mad, call me crazy. That's where I see him fitting into the team. I feel like he could be the replacement for Russo, who of course we've had on loan the last few years. But ultimately, I think Mathis, whilst he's not quite as quick, just everywhere else he excels. And from kind of Lyon on a free transfer, makes a lot of sense. The other player we signed is Ndilu, who is going to be joining us from Nantes, and I really like this guy. At 23 years old, he's super well-rounded. He reminds me a little bit of Manan. They're not two dissimilar players. Manan's perhaps a little bit better going forward, but as you can see here, Ndilu everywhere else is just that little bit better, and I'm hoping those little bits of improvement, as well as being 5 years younger, is going to mean he's a really good signing for us. Manan is entering the final year of his contract, or in fact, he's in the final year of his contract. I have got to make a decision as to whether or not I want to renew it. With his recent form and the fact he's really struggled for goals at this level, with Bridge coming in, that might spell the end for Manan. But yeah, I think a really good signing. Again, free transfers. It's something that we're looking at a lot, and we are continuing to look at free transfers. I've got a few that are earmarked. The first is Mercier here, who is playing for Sochaux, 18 years old, left-footed centre-back. Looks really, really good, even for this level. We should be in the middle of scouting him. He was someone who, I think his agent offered him to us, and when you look at it, yes, he's not played in the top flight of, or the top few flights, I guess, of French football. But I do think when you look at him, he's done okay in the National C. He's probably an upgrade on what we've already got. And given the fact he's only 18 years old, he could be a really good centre-back for the future. The other two players we've got, More is playing for Ferrol in Spain. He looks like a pretty good advanced playmaker option. At 20 years old, I kind of see him maybe coming in as a bit of backup, to be honest, at deep line playmaker. Kahinde, of course, has a year and a half left on his current deal. He doesn't look like he's going to sign a new deal. I'm kind of having to think ahead to life after Kahinde. As much as I don't want to think about it, there's part of me that's kind of having this realisation in 18 months he's probably going to want to leave. He doesn't want to renew his contract, sadly, because of the interest being shown in him. So barring us getting promoted this year, even if we were to have a really good season next year, there's a reasonable chance that he's going to force a move and leave on a free. With that in mind, I need to find someone to fill his boots. Now, do I think Morey is that man? Not necessarily, but I think in terms of a bit of depth at deep line playmaker and for a freebie signing, he just wouldn't be a bad addition at all to the team. Yeah, he looks pretty good. Of course, the scout report could change all that. If he's injury-prone, inconsistent, I might be scared away. And the last player I'm looking at the moment is Mansouri, who plays for Bastia, who we were, of course, familiar with, having clashed against them last year. And this guy plays inverted winger. He's an Algerian under-20 international, which is how I kind of got him flagged up to me. I was looking at players with contracts expiring and international youth caps. And to be honest, he just looks really, really good for the price. If we could get him in, assuming the scout report isn't going to tell me that his legs are about to drop off and he's injury prone as hell, which he could be looking at that, he's another player who I would be quite keen to get in. I mean, you can see the wages that we're offering the players here. We have got a little bit of money to spend. And of course, with all the sales that we've made, the club balance looks really, really healthy. I mean, you can see here, just looking at the transfer budget and the wage budget, plenty of room to shuffle this around as we wish. But yeah, I am kind of trying to plan for the future and next season now, which I'm always a bit hesitant to do if you look on course for promotion. But I will be honest, given our recent form, I don't even know if we're going to be in the playoffs at this rate. We've really not been good enough. Of course, I talked about doing Cannes last episode as this episode's game because we had some easier matches and I was expecting us to catch up. It ain't happened. We currently sit in 5th. We are 10 points behind Cannes. We are 17 points behind Metz. It's just not going to happen. I've made my peace with the world. I don't know if automatic promotion's on the card. And to be honest, I think right now, targeting playoffs is perhaps as realistic as we can get. So let's talk about the recent form. Since your last year, we've played 4 games. And these are 4 teams right down in the league, struggling in the lower depths. And as you can see from it, we've got 4 points from the last 3 games, which simply put is not good enough. The first game we had was against Clermont. It was at home. And in this game, we took the lead twice and gave up the lead twice. Yes, Kofi twice getting on the score sheet, either side of half-time. Mini kit clash going on here. Not really the kits looking the same, just lots of similar colours on displays. Lots of blues and reds, but nevertheless, I can't really use that as an excuse. I can't claim that my players were confused. Bit of a shame this one. They scored right before half-time. We took the lead in the 55th minute. Some nice finishing by Kofi, who's having a really good season this year. But Mutombo grabbed a goal in the 86th minute. Very scrappy one, very fortuitous, but a draw nevertheless. We then moved into the French Cup where we took on Villefranche, rotated the team a little bit for this one. This is a team who are way down a couple of tiers below us, if I'm not mistaken. I think they're in the National 2. In fact, no, they're in the National League, so they're only 1 tier behind us, which I suppose explains why they were able to give us such a good game. But nevertheless, some good goal scorers, some late goals required, but we got the win and went marching on. And then we took on Grenoble. which, well, was a noble effort by them, but it wasn't noble enough. We came away with all the points. We took the lead again through Kofi. Kofi getting all the goals in recent games, it feels like. He's been really, really good for us. They then scored through Romain Favre. I think it was a set piece, if I can remember. I don't know if it was. I'm going to claim it was, because they usually are. Julian Blaise then got us back ahead in the 24th minute to make it 2-1. And come the 62nd minute, Luis Carlos grabbed a goal for us. The Brazilian ball-winning midfielder, scoring a bit of a scrappy goal after a free kick corner wasn't initially dealt with. And well, from there, we grabbed the win, and we grabbed all 3 points. And you think, right, turned a corner, unbeaten in our last 3. Maybe things are starting to get there. You know, in our last 7 games, we've only lost 1. Did that happen? Absolutely not. Against Paris FC, we lost 1-0 in this game. I wish I had a great excuse. I don't really. It was a game devoid of any proper chances. It was a pretty even game. We had more clear-cut chances, but they had way more half chances. They took a chance early on. We went chasing. We couldn't catch them. And yeah, 1-0 it finished. I mean, you can see here, just looking at the stats, it's not like we massively outplayed them. They probably deserved their result, which it really hurts to say, because when you look at the league table, you realise Paris FC, with that win, moved out of the relegation zone. And as for ourselves, well, we're in a bit of a, I don't want to say a downwards tumble, but we're definitely slipping away and losing our ground, I guess, on the teams ahead. You can kind of see here our recent form. Less than ideal for sure. Of course, today a bit of a welcome distraction in the French Cup. We're in the 8th round, which if we just look, the expectation is to reach the 10th round. Or rather, sorry, is this the 9th round? No, this is the 8th round, right? And it's saying the next round is the 9th round. No, it's the 9th round. I can't count numbers. I can't help me. But yes, we're taking on Toulouse. It's the 9th round. A win here and we reach our minimum expectation. Although, if we don't do it, I don't think they're going to sack me for it, basically, is what I'm hoping, at least. Worth noting that in their team, they've got Ryan Brewster from Liverpool. Yes, they signed this guy. Look how good he's developed in this save game. They signed him for 9.5 million. They've got an absolute bargain there. Ridiculous bit of business for Toulouse. A little bit scared of what he might be able to do to us today. You can see here, looking at their team, they're playing a 4-2-3-1. We'll have to see how they get on here. I actually have a few players that I recognise in their team. They've got, is it Dennis Mann? I don't know if it's definitely Dennis Mann. If we just look at their team selection, is it Dennis? It is Dennis Mann. And then they've also got Frill, who, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he's from Luxembourg. Is he from? Look at that. That is the pointless football knowledge that you pick up playing Football Manager. Just players that I recognise from various save games. But yeah, looks like they're going to potentially play quite a strong team against us today. We'll have to wait and see on that one. In terms of the team for today's game, I'm going to do a bit of shuffling. I'm going to bring in Big Dub for Fomba, who's not had a terrible run of form as of late, to be fair. Maybe I should start Fomba instead of Luis Carlos. Luis Carlos is a weird one, because we signed him as a freebie from Brazil. I say freebie. We agreed a pre-signing with him from Gremio, but then we had to obviously execute a buy now clause. And I was hoping, Brazilian youngster, capped under 20, perfectionist, he's going to be insane. Chucked quite a lot of money at him as well. He's not really done it this year, I'll level with you. He has not wowed me one little bit. He's not developed a great deal. He's not kind of put in some crazy performances. Granted, he plays, I feel like, a position, I suppose, in ball-winning midfielder within our team that doesn't always, necessarily perform particularly well. But still, you expect a little bit more in terms of average ratings, I suppose. Anyway, I have got to think a little bit ahead to team selection today. You might be thinking, Jack, where's Diego Costa? He got a hernia. He's been out for like the last few games, which is why he hasn't been playing. He's been out for 3 weeks already. He's going to be out for another 2 to 3 weeks. And also, he rejected our pleas for him to, reconsider retirement, unfortunately. So we're down without Diego Costa. That signing, I said after last episode where he got 1 goal, it can't be a flop. Probably still could be classified as a flop. It's got the potential to be still. We've got plenty of options in the final third. Just thinking about who I want to put in on the bench. Of course, with the departure of a few of the youngsters, it does open up the opportunity. And to be fair, Maury, who's been kicking around, doing his thing as a ball-winning midfielder, probably a player who I have to bring into the team today, despite the fact his contract's expiring at the end of the year and I don't really want to renew it. I think we'll give him the nod. And with that, we'll go into this game. It's going to be a tricky one. It's going to be a hard one. Away from home in the French Cup, taking on Liga opposition. As I said, the one team who stood by Luzenac during all of this. Our little friends down the road. As close as we're really going to get, I imagine, to a local derby, given where we are in the world. Let's see if we can do something against them, I suppose. I would like to believe that if this fixture was happening in real life, we'd get a really warm welcome. The fans, they'd applaud us coming onto the pitch. The neutrals, they'd be cheering our name. Whether or not that actually happens, I suppose we will have to wait and find out. I guess with the fact we're not in the league, we can put up action zones as a little bit of added info here. And well, let's see how we get on. I'm hoping that we can at least hold our own here against Toulouse. It's a good opportunity for us to prove our worth against Liga opposition. Of course, we're knocking on the doors of the playoffs right now. This is a team that we could theoretically meet next year. Be that through promotion or them being relegated. Worth noting, by the way, Thomas in goal. You might remember I was talking about trying to sign him on a new contract because his contract was expiring. Unfortunately, he renewed his contract at his parent club. However, we have extended his loan for another year, so that's a good bit of news. Thomas locked down for another year. I mean, it's not the permanent signing I was hoping and dreaming of, but you know what? We'll take it. And while Blaze is through here, hits it straight at Barkas. Called into some action early on. And we're holding our own. 59% of possession. We're dominating. We're dominating the ball. Unfortunately, dominating possession doesn't mean a great deal. I feel like against a team of this kind of quality where they can just put you to the sword with one chance. Dennis Mann's shot is blocked there. Huge block. Can we deal with the second ball? Of course we can. Garo puts it out, no nonsense. And we've got to be wary here now. Frill to whip in the ball. He's doing it for the. I've called him Frill. Is it Phil? There's no R in it. I'm calling him Frill. Nickname him. Give him an R in his name. Just insert it. I've read his name as Frill in my head this whole time. Well, it's a little awkward, Phil. But Frill is a better name. He's doing it for the frill. He's going in for the kill. That's not the order that those words go in the song, is it? Right, Barkas with it. Puts it wide. Blaze to pick up on it. Let's be honest, if we were Toulouse manager and we signed him, we'd probably call him Frill. Better nickname potential, more puns. Anyway, Thomas de Halhal spreads it wide to Viltard, who has really nailed down a spot in the team, the former Sochaux man. And Zangaba as well, the Tonga-Lese, not Tonga-Lese, Tonga-Lese, yes, I do read the comments. Right back has also kind of been keeping Billingham out of the team as of late. You know, I'm willing to give the youngsters a chance, and if players perform, they are going to get into the first team. That's how I like to approach things here. Oh my word, it's a chance, it's a disaster off the back of the defender. Zangaba linking up with his Toga-Lese. I've butchered it. I've almost said Toga-Lese again. It's the two Togo players linking up. Oh my word. We're ahead. What happened here? He whipped in the ball and it just hit the defender on the back of the head. Kofi latches onto it. He's alive to the threat. Continues on with his fine goal-scoring form. And we find ourselves 1-0 up away from home against Toulouse in the French Cup. It's the magic of the Cup. Right, could we get another here? NDIA. What can you do at left back, my friend? Long throw forward. Dealt with. Kahinde now with it. Blaze. Big dub. Makes it 2. Luzanak proving their clinicalness and having completely bottled the league in the last few months and fallen off the pace. It's a little bit annoying to see us doing this well against a team who are, well, evidently quite far ahead of us in terms of the pecking order of French football. Big dub though. Late inclusion into the first team. Made that late change. Made that late decision. With these save games, you know, I'll play it to a certain point, maybe the night before, maybe the afternoon before, and then I'll stop, go eat, make some food or sleep or whatever and come back. Came back, looked at my team selection, wasn't entirely happy with what I've done. I've brought in Big Dub, and well, God bless me. God bless me and not Evening Jack. Evening Jack doesn't know what he's doing with his team selections. I certainly do. Kahinde, I mean, if we could get a third, we're going on the pitch. We're going on the pitch if we get a third in this cup. Halhal, Garo. NDIA. Worth noting, NDIA instead of Russo at left back is a recent kind of thing I've been experimenting with. I want to give the youngsters chances, and Russo hasn't played particularly well. Oh my word, Blaze could have scored an immense goal there to make it 3. But yeah, NDIA's done really well actually at left back, and you know, as I said, you know, I'm willing to give youngsters a chances, and also if someone starts performing, I'm going to play them over the other player. Kahinde can't be the first man. It's a free kick. Oh, he's offside. I thought somehow he committed a foul there by kicking the ball at the defender, but that isn't how football works. 30 seconds left of the first half. We are a goal ahead here against Liga opposition. Can we hold on though? Phil, down this left-hand side. Ball squared. Ball scored. Roger Martinez with it for his 3rd of the season. He grabs the ball, runs back. Not what we wanted to see just 10 seconds before half-time. This has been a fiercely competitive game though. Just NDIA caught slightly out of position there. To be fair, pretty good attempt for him to get back. Maybe I'm defending him a little bit too much there, but Well, we find ourselves 2-1 up nevertheless, and I'm pretty pleased with that. In fact, you know what? I'm very pleased. Look at the average ratings here. Kofi with the best. Actually, Big Dub on an 8.2 is living it up. Thomas in goal on a 7.1, I love. Zangaba with an assist out on right back. He's doing really, really well, actually, Zangaba. Unfortunately, his training's not been particularly good recently, but he's putting in a performance here. And just to show you in DIA, because I don't feel like I've shown you in a little while, he's pretty blooming good. You know, he's got really good physicals, really good going forward. And at 18, need to give him some game time, the former Toulouse Metropole youngster. And this was a game where, to be fair, I'm willing to give him a chance. You know, it is the Cup. He's done okay in the league when we've played him there. The question is, can we hold on in the second half? Fomba is on a booking and has just given away a penalty. I'm taking him off. Luis Carlos, come on down. Toulouse with a chance to make it 2-2 here from the spot. Luis Carlos, I don't want Fomba getting sent off. He's just committed a foul whilst already on a yellow. Thomas in goal. What can he do? They've missed it. And the attacker can't go for it. He can't go for it there. So he just has to watch our defender clear it away. Of course, if a striker shoots a penalty and it hits the post and comes back to him without it touching anyone else, he can't touch it because it counts as a double hit. In the same way, you can't just lay off a penalty to yourself. If it hits the woodwork and no one else, he is not allowed to touch it before anyone else. If you're wondering why he stopped there, I've seen people complain about the match ending, saying, "Oh, my striker just stopped when I missed a penalty." That's why. Anyway, Cyprian David, going to bring him out on the right-hand side. We've got one last sub in our back pocket. We're going to hold on to it here. And I know there's someone screaming in the comment section, "Jack, go more defensive." Look, I want to try and, you know, control the game to an extent. And whilst if we might die for it, we might suffer from it, I'd rather play our brand of football than park the bus. Bus parking is boring. It's all about driving full speed down the motorway. And that is what we are doing. Cyprian David switches it over to Julien. Julien, what can you do? He's just got so much pace. He's got so much space. Can he finish it at the end of it? He can't. He puts it just wide of the mark. Toulouse, though. I mean, they need to step it up in the last 10 minutes. I want to shout, demand more. I can't shout. I've shouted at them too much already. My voice is sore. But Zangaba's been gifted the ball here. What can he do with it now, the 18-year-old? To Kahinde. Back with Zangaba. Big Dub now with it. Look at this. Lovely build-up play. We're working the ball superbly down this right-hand side. Cyprian David, fresh off the bench, left-footed, pulls it back to Zangaba, dinked in, Kofi, oh, the keeper tips it just wide of the post. A great opportunity for us there to grab the third, the goal that probably secures this game. Have still got a set piece, but I'll tell you what, Toulouse are on the back foot. Toulouse are on the back foot. We are creating as many chances as them. We are giving them a proper go. And with 4 minutes left, 3 minutes left, 2 minutes left, it remains 2-1, but there is still time. There is a highlight starting. I don't want to panic, but I do start to worry as we play the ball around the back. Really nice passing play, though, here. Luis Carlos with it, fresh off the bench to NDIA. Space ahead for him to run into. They are playing very, very narrowly. NDIA, all on his lonesome, shoots just wide. I mean, I respect the confidence to even take on that shot there. And there's 2 minutes left. Oh, there's a minute and a half for the highlights begun. Football Manager, not like this. Not like this. Toulouse, 2-1 down. A chance for them to send it to extra time if they could get a goal here. Torre with the ball on this near side. Bringing it forward, strikes it over, though. And I love the fact our fans are just mocking the attacker, smashing over by raising their arms. We win it! I'm not sure how we've won that, because they missed a penalty and we've not been particularly amazing. But you know what? We took our chances. Big Dub did something incredible. Our goalkeeper got a 7.2 rating. That never happens. Our back four across the board got some pretty good ratings as well. But yeah, Big Dub, man of the match. Kofi with a goal as well. What a historic win that is against Toulouse. You know what? We might be absolutely butt cheeks in the league. But in the Cup, for whatever reason, we go marching on. And we're now in the 10th round, which is rather exciting if you ask me. Unfortunately, the French Cup, there are like a million rounds. So although you might think, oh, the 10th round, you're well far in. No, don't get... There's lots of rounds left. Lots. That's the technical term as well, lots. But that is a historic win. I'm so happy with that. That does hopefully give me hope that we can still crack on in the league. You know, we have given the big teams in our league really good games. Our just recent form just hasn't been good enough, really. Although, when you look at it now, 3 away wins in a row is quite good. Maybe we can transcend that form into the league. In terms of when we're going to be back next time, I talked about doing the Cannes game yesterday. Of course, we've come back sooner now. As much as I would like to believe we can chase down them in second, it does feel a little bit far-fetched at this point. With that in mind, I think I'm going to play a little further ahead. I'm not sure entirely when. I think I'll know when I hit that point. But having, not done a huge amount of games between episodes, I feel like we need to get into things a little bit more. Of course, in the French Cup, we get a higher division team. I might reevaluate things. Although even then, the French Cup isn't really the focus. If we got another Ligue 1 team, I don't want to say gloss over it, but we've beaten Toulouse now. We've peaked there. I don't really want to ruin it by getting spanked by a French Cup team the very next episode. Or a Ligue 1 team in the French Cup, the very next episode, rather. We'll wait and see. We'll evaluate things. I mean, right now, I'm desperate just to continue on playing and get into the league stuff here. We need some wins, but that result gives me some hope. It gives me some confidence. And hopefully that confidence is still going to be persisting when we're back next time. Anyway, guys, that's going to be all from me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. What an insane result. So happy with the boys there. Massive win against Toulouse. One for the record books, that is for certain. Well, hopefully we can continue to make this season one for the record books. If you have enjoyed today's video, do drop a like on it. Drop a comment if you've got any thoughts on what's been going on or off the pitch. And I'll catch you guys next time. It is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.